The update on Joel Embiid's knee is there's no update, of course. So we're going to talk Sixers today. We're going to talk the Joel Embiid knee and what to do. We're going to talk the NBA trade deadline and this Sixers team. We're also going to dive a little bit into the Flyers, the Carter Hart situation, and the Flyers as a whole. Bill Matz joining us at 9 a.m. to talk the Flyers and Carter Hart and the NHL trade deadline. Anything else that comes up in the conversation as well. Trending in the AM, taking your thoughts, opinions, etc., live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. You know the drill. The like, share, subscribe, the retweet buttons. They're all there right in front of you. It does not cost you a thing. Just hit those like and share buttons, follow buttons, subscribe buttons. It helps us continue to grow this show every single morning, so I greatly appreciate that. My name's Phil Stiefel, your host here every single morning. And as I have to make sure I remind everybody, Brett, you can find me on all social media platforms at Beard of Knowledge. If I'm on it, that is my handle. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. That's how you can find me. Guys, another jam-packed episode of the show today. Talking Sixers, the NBA trade deadline, Joel Embiid's knee, trade targets for the Sixers. So much on the agenda today with the Sixers that we're going to talk about. We are going to dive into the Flyers. I don't enjoy the conversation of the Flyers because of the Carter Hart situation, but we are going to tackle it a little bit and what the Flyers should do this trade deadline, which is coming up in about 4 weeks. The NBA trade deadline's next week, and we got a couple weeks still to the NHL one. Bill Matz will be joining us at 9 a.m. from PHLY Sports Flyers team. He will help us talk a little Flyers as well and what Danny Briere and company should do at the deadline. But we got Sixers on my mind. I got Sixers on my mind. Now, I don't know about you guys. This little down point right here in between the end of the football season and Super Bowl, always some other things on the agenda, especially with the Eagles not playing in the Super Bowl. So Sixers are on my mind. Phillies are on my mind as well. Now, as Adam says, I instant reacted to the jerseys when the information was breaking during the show, late in the show yesterday, so I had an instant reaction to it. I do not mind the inner city jerseys. I think the blue, the different tones of blue in the jerseys, Adam, fantastic. The little love logo on the sleeve patch, fantastic. I don't even mind the yellow trim. The only thing I don't like about them, Adam, is the Philly, the font that the word Philly is printed in. Kind of looks like the Dallas Mavericks light blue jerseys too. Will I buy a jersey? No, I don't buy baseball jerseys. I mean, the Roy Halladay is the only baseball jersey I have. Baseball jerseys are so uncomfortable to wear anyway. But I will go out there and buy a collar combo, if the jerseys or just a T-shirt with that logo on it, I will without a doubt go buy it because I love the blue color. And I'm definitely on board with what they did. All right, John Cena. Does a basketball player have to go to college before they could go to the pros? Yes and no. It used to be you can go right out of high school. Then they made it where you had to go 1 year to college. Now they have it where you can either go to college for 1 year or you could go. They have like a developmental G League team. You can't go right into the NBA. They should be allowed to do whatever they want, though. I don't know what brought that up there, TMC, but fair question. So all day yesterday, I talked about all I cared about was waiting for news on the results of Joel Embiid's knee MRI, and we got nothing. 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 The only thing we got is that Joel Embiid has been ruled out tonight for the game against the Utah Jazz in Utah, continuing this West Coast swing that the Sixers are on. How many more games do they have on this West Coast trip? I gotta look up at their schedule. Obviously, I know they got the Jazz tonight. Then they come home after tonight. They don't play. They play Saturday, Brooklyn, Dallas, Golden State again. They got 4 straight games at home after tonight. So that's good. ESPN and NBA TV games too. So they'll be home soon. So, or they can play overseas. Yeah, they have to be 1 year removed from high school to play in the NBA. Stupid. It really is. If you want to go play in the NBA, go play in the NBA. If you think you're good enough, whatever. Taking kids out of high school into the pros was a bad idea, and only getting 1 year of college ahead of pros isn't much better. Duck, I don't know where this comes. TMC dropping a conversation point that we want to dive into. I mean, we could dive into this randomly here. I don't like my team taking a high school kid, but I think forcing the kids to go to college for 1 year was one of the many things that hurt college basketball for a little bit. Because then you didn't have you had too many guys just going for the one and done just to get their eligibility. So not a fan of that part of it. So now that they can do other things, that's fine. Yeah, they're not ready to play NBA basketball right out of high school. That's obvious. Unless you're LeBron James. Why can't you go right into NBA? That this got me mad. I'm trying to get into the NBA. I'm trying to get into the Sixers, but you're dropping a question that's bringing in conversation. I'm sick of how much control college has over sports. I hate college sports. I am not a college sports fan. I don't like it one bit. Not happening. I saw a scenario where the Sixers are the second best odds of getting Jimmy Butler back in my. That is on my agenda, right here. Jimmy Butler. It's on here to talk about today. For sure. And I've got the NBA trade machine of ESPN.com. I hate it. I hate all these armchair GMs that just write articles nonstop about potential trades when you have no idea. But it's the NBA trade machine is good for one thing. It helps you figure out the salary of a trade. Like I got another one that I've got up on my screen that I wanted to talk about. But all these trade scenarios that keep getting floated around, Adam, it all means one thing. Or it all boils down to one thing. Whether you want to trade for Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson, who we talked about a few days ago. All matters is Joel Embiid going to be back this year or not? And until we get that answer about how serious his knee injury is, we don't know what to do at the trade deadline. Daryl Morey doesn't know what to do at the trade deadline because Joel Embiid being out 4 games, 4 weeks, or the rest of the year, all 3 scenarios have a different impact on what he has to do at the trade deadline. So Jimmy Butler, I was against bringing back Jimmy Butler for a while. Just time to move on from that situation. But we're going to get into that because I have different opinions on that now. Feels like this Joel injury is much worse with the way this whole thing is being handled. I agree. I'm scared, Marshawn. I think at a minimum, it's February 1st. First off, happy February 1st. Can't believe January's over already, guys. January flew by like that. In life in general. Not just in this show, in life. January was one quick month. But I have a feeling, at a minimum, we're not going to see Joel Embiid back on a basketball court until mid-March. Maybe. 6 weeks at a minimum. I have this gut thing. Most of his injuries he's been able to recover from fairly quickly, tough it out, and get back out on the court. I have a gut bad feeling. It's that, nothing good. We can't have anything good here in Philadelphia, Marshawn. It's that feeling that I'm getting right now. And I don't like that. Those jerseys are horrible. Strong disagree with you, EOP. Big Al. Strong disagree. I'm a blue fan. I try to make blue the color on this show as much as I can. I'm going to redesign Trend in the AM logo and make it more blue. I would be very happy with that. I love blue. Hell, blue's in the color of your logo. I love the blues. The only thing I don't like is the Philly font. If they would have done a different kind of a font there, I'd be all over it. I will definitely be buying a shirt with that color scheme and logo on. Love it. These kids get millions by college got me pissed. The NILs don't bother me at all. If anything, that helps the game of basketball, the college sports a little bit, gets these kids paid a little bit, but also, you know, they were getting paid anyway. It just eliminates the cheating and the undermining and stuff like that. Playing overseas is better than high school and 1 year of college. They get to see the world and open their minds. I agree. I love the idea of a young person going overseas. I mean, just going and spending time, even high school, you're talking about 18, 19, 20-year-old stuff doing it. I mean, when I was 22, 23, I got burned out of my job, had a bad breakup, and I went and worked on a cruise ship. And I got to spend 3 months in Europe on a cruise ship, just traveling the world. And it opened my mind, got me to see anyone under 24 years old, if you can, going overseas or just leaving the country in general for an extended period of time really, really helps you grow up faster, for sure. And it teaches you a lot more than you learn in school. That means the student tuitions go up. Yeah. Imagine if the Sixers drafted Kobe 1 in 96. Kobe said he didn't want to play here, though, didn't he? If I remember correctly. 15-year-old me has a recessed memory back there saying that, I think. Get paid, don't have the college pay. Well, the colleges don't pay. Well, they pay for everyone's argument that their college kids got paid by getting free tuition and room and board and stuff like that. It's different. I'm venting because I'm mad as a side discussion. You brought in a good side discussion. It's fair. I wouldn't mind Jimmy if Joel was healthy. If he is out 1 month, then I would like Morey to bring in Bogdanovich and Sadiq Bey. I love Sadiq Bey, man. He's a guy I've been wanting the Sixers. There's two perfect bench guys in the NBA that don't get enough attention. Starters on bad teams, bench guys on championship caliber teams. Two guys I've wanted the Sixers to bring in this organization for a long time. Sadiq Bey is one of them. I love his game, and I think he fits on any team, really, because he does everything. And Josh Hart, they're the two. Josh Hart's not on the trade block right now, though, but Sadiq Bey might be. The Jimmy Butler thing, and I don't know what got the conversation starting, whether it was the fact that there's somebody shared out the odds, or if somebody else started it, then the odds came out. I don't know where it came from originally. But I kept feeling that Jimmy Butler thing was kind of old news. But right now, Jimmy Butler on the Sixers, if Joel Embiid was healthy for sure, would be an excellent addition to this team. You get a playoff championship caliber player, a guy towards the end of his career that wants to make another run, best friends with your star in Joel Embiid. I love it. But here's the thing. So let's see. I'm pulling up on a side screen. Butler's got 3 years, $45 million left, counting this year. So he's on the hook for $45 million the next 2 years. Okay, so you got to understand you're keeping Jimmy Butler for a couple more years. He's still performing at a pretty high level. You'd have to give up Tobias Harris, obviously. Okay, but that's not enough. You're still $6 million off on the cap. So I guess you can add. Well, I mean, you can add Furcon, but that doesn't help. You're gonna have to add something of value, something like Jaden Springer, maybe DeAnthony Melton. Let's see if that gets the deal done. That gets the deal done. You're gonna have to add in a couple picks, probably 1 or 2 firsts, a young player like Springer and or Melton, and obviously Tobias. And I'm fine with the Tobias. Does Miami accept that? 2 firsts, Harris, expiring contract, and 2 young players. Does that get you the job done? And if it does, I'm for it. But again, just like you, it doesn't matter if Joel's healthy or not. It's will Joel Embiid return this year or not? That's where my question comes into play. I'm not making that deal for Jimmy Butler because you're doing that to win this year. Even though you've got him for 2 more years, you're looking at this year, maximizing this year. If this year is moot, you just wait. Maybe you make the deal in the offseason. Denard Wilson is the defense corner for the Titans. I saw that breaking news tomorrow. Shane Half. We'll be back to mostly Eagles talk tomorrow. I got an interesting topic lined up for tomorrow. Plus, then Shane Half from Chalk Talk and Bleeding Green Nation and EOP and 75 other places he works for. But super smart guy. Join us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I think Denard Wilson will do excellent. It's a shame that he's not part of the Philadelphia organization anymore, Doc. I really wanted Denard Wilson here. If Joel requires surgery, then he should just go through with it, right? Yeah, no rehab. Just get the surgery. Here's the thing, Marshawn. Would you rather him try to rehab it and be back in 4 weeks and then have that lingering over your head for the rest of the season? Or would you rather him have the surgery, maybe be back for the playoffs? Or just sit the rest of the year, if depending on the type of surgery? Like, what would you rather do? We got to think this year. We got to think big picture. All the trade Joel Embiid people out there, the people that want to talk about trading Joel Embiid, we're not trading Joel Embiid. It's not happening. It shouldn't happen, and it won't happen anytime soon. The only way Joel Embiid ever gets traded in his career is if he sits down and demands a trade out of Philadelphia. Otherwise, we got to sink with the ship. So, big picture, you want him healthy for next year then? I don't know. Injuries are part of the game. They are part of the game. Just unfortunately, they happen a lot with Joel Embiid. Not the blue. It looks like a kiosk at the McDade Mall made that. I know what you're talking about. I love the McDade Mall. The McDade Mall baseball card shows every couple of months when they have all. I made my dad take me all the time to all the baseball cards. I never really bought much, but just going through all the baseball card booths in the middle there, loved it. Clutch. Underrated mall in Delco. Wouldn't exist. I don't even know what's there anymore, if it's there or not. Not sure about that. But yeah, McDade Mall was clutch. They can get paid all they want, just not on back of students. Yeah, most of them are not. Breakups are the worst. Breakups. Most of these kids don't get millions. Most get scammed by the agents because the stupid NCAA didn't put proper rules in place. And the kids are being taken advantage of. Kids have been taken advantage of in college sports for a very long time, Doc. And colleges make billions of dollars. I would say college athletics, some of them make more money than NBA and NHL teams, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of situations with that. I don't really pay attention enough anymore. There's certain players, but the bulk of them aren't getting paid much. No, I know. Free tuition is a huge thing. They should be able to go to NFL or UFL and get paid without college. Yeah, like the UFL actually pays people. Come on now. Kobe said he wanted to play here, and he put the Sixers in his kill list. That's what he said. I want to rip their heart out to the fans of the 0-1 finals. Yeah. I don't know what Kobe's problem was with Philly. I mean, born and raised here. I don't know what his problem was. 2 firsts for Jimmy is an overpay because he hasn't been the Jimmy of previous years. Yeah, I get that. But I kind of feel like that's what it probably would take. He's still Jimmy Butler. He's still playoff Jimmy. Man, I can't clear my nose. Man. I think you'd have to drop at least 1 first-round pick and multiple young, promising players, Springer, Melton, Martin, or 2 picks and one of those guys. And obviously Harris to make the money work. If you would have asked me this 2 months ago, Marshawn, I'd have been like, nah. If you would have asked me this last year, I probably said no. But right now, I'm all for it. If Joel Embiid will be back this season. Because if Joel Embiid's not back this season, I'm in full sell mode. If I'm Daryl Morey. Any player that is not part of next season's team, I'm selling. Tobias Harris, Marcus Morris, KJ Martin, Jaden Springer. I'm trading. I'm selling all these guys if I can. If somebody wants Furkan coming off his 5 for 6 3-point night, bye-bye. I'm selling right now if Joel Embiid is not coming back this year. Outside of Joel and Tyrese Maxey, every option is on the table. Pat Beverly could get you something from a contending team. I am in full sell mode if Joel goes down. I know that's not what people want to hear, and people are going to tell you and convince you that this team has a chance still with Maxey, Harris, and the trade deadline. I don't care. I'm in full sell mode if Joel is out for the year. It's not going to be a popular opinion, but that's how I feel. This situation is more than a torn MCL, LCL. It might be. I don't know. High school player coming into the NFL would be a physical disaster. Absolutely. I'm surprised the NFL doesn't have like a G League type league. Um, I mean, the UFL and the XFL are out there, or well, now whatever they're called now, the UFL is what they're joint now. But still, yeah, exactly. Relax. What's up, Teresa? Good morning to you. How you doing today? Hope you're well. Just get this surgery and punt the year. He will be 30 when next season starts. And once you hit 30 and you're a 7'2", 285-pound man, that means you've hit the top. I mean, after 30, next year is when the window starts to close. So you punt on this year, you go all in on next year, whatever it takes, and then we deal with the Joel Embiid at 32 down the line. See where he's at. But until we know, Marshawn, this is the problem with the Sixers right now. Until we know exact information from the Sixers on Joel Embiid's status, and all that we were given yesterday was that he's out for tonight's game against Utah. Outside of that, we know nothing. So until we know the answer, we don't know what to do. Now, maybe they know and they're keeping it under wraps, but I don't know. Decision for Nate. I don't want them forced to go to college. College is overrated. Wow. Way gone. McDade Mall, just a memory. Just like the Bazaar. I lived within walking distance of the Bazaar. Used to go there. The Bazaar used to have a great arcade. They used to have a place you could buy like cheap knockoff jerseys before eBay and Chinese jerseys were a thing. But the McDade Mall was my place for baseball card shopping, for sure. Us Delco kids, us Sea King kids, that's what we had to do when we were kids. Phil's reaction, Joe joke, stop. Hey, stop. Jason Kelce is not sure yet when he is going to retire or not. He never released it. Yes, dropping a little Eagles conversation. We don't know what's going on with Jason Kelce. I still tend to lean into the opinion that he is going to retire. I think he will. I think he wanted to announce it on his terms, not have a leak come out of the locker room. So I think he's just playing it up. I also think that he is a great brother, and he is letting his brother have the limelight right now. And after the Super Bowl, he'll make his decision. But the Kelce news right now is Travis in the Super Bowl. The Kelce news right now is Travis and Taylor. After the season's over, the Taylor-Travis stuff kind of settles down and disappears for a little bit. So then Jason can take the limelight and announce his plans for 2024. He made a little bit of a comment, Teresa, about wanting to stay with the conversation or stay with the organization in some capacity. So he wants to be a coach with the team or something. So maybe he's just waiting for that situation to end. Always with an AJ McCarron comment. I feel like for a team like Miami, Tobias' expiring contract is more valuable because they always sign free agents. It's possible. I mean, it is an asset. An expiring 35, 36 million. Get the trade machine up here. $39 million. That's an expiring contract. That's huge to teams. It's huge. But they still don't just want that. Miami, though, is also in a position where they're trying possibly to reset, reboot a little bit. So they're going to want young players. They're going to want draft picks. We've got them. But again, I'm not making a bold move. I'm not going out and making a bold move for Jimmy Butler if Joel. Some people would say you have to make a bold move if Joel's gone for the year. Me, I say no. Because there's no bold move you can make if Joel is out that is going to put you in the conversation for the NBA championship. There's just not. I'm selling to build a team now for when Joel comes back next season. So you're pre-setting it up, knowing that you're not for next year. So you're doing what I want to do in the offseason now. And that's fine. That's fine. But that's what you got to be thinking about when whatever move you make now, if Joel Embiid's gone for the year, you make it in conversation for next year. Wonder how long Maxey will be out. I am not sure how long Tyrese Maxey. We haven't really gotten a definitive answer on his injury and how long he's going to be out. Pulling up his ESPN page right now, see if he's listed as questionable. So he hasn't been ruled out for tonight. Nick Nurse said he was trending in the right direction to be able to play. They tested at shoot around, but it's going to be a game time call for Tyrese Maxey. So, by that report, it sounds like Maxey could be back tonight, but should definitely be back Saturday for the 4-game homestand in Philadelphia. So he should be back soon, which is important because his team, without Joel and Tyrese, is a complete and total disaster. You always choose anger. Always. Miami offers you Bam, Vasquez, Duncan Robinson, and 4 firsts for Joel this offseason. You doing it? No, 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 no. I'm going down with the sinking ship. I am not moving on from Joel Embiid right now. 2-3 years from now, sure, maybe. If he asks out, sure, we can have that conversation. First off, Bam, nowhere near Joel Embiid. Vasquez, nah. Duncan Robinson, overpaid. 4 firsts. I want a minimum of 5 for Joel at this point, injured or not. I'm not getting into the we should trade Joel Embiid conversation. We just shouldn't. We can't. You got to go down with the ship with Joel Embiid. I'm not moving on from him. You try and you try. And if you fail, you try again. And you keep trying to build a team to maximize Joel Embiid's generational talent. Joel Embiid is generational, and nobody you're going to pick with those 4 first-rounders is going to be Joel Embiid's level. Bam isn't close. You just continue to go all in until you can get Joel Embiid there, or until Joel Embiid's done. What's up, Mitchy Poo? Is Klay Thompson a Sixer yet? So here's a simple question. I mean, the Sixers are one of the favorite teams to land Jimmy Butler if they were to trade him. You brought up Klay Thompson a few days ago. I've been intrigued by it. It's not a popular opinion. I put it out on Twitter, and I got crushed for it because he's 33 years old or whatever. Klay Thompson or Jimmy Butler? If Joel Embiid's going to play this year, who helps us the most? I tend to lean more towards Jimmy Butler, but I think Klay Thompson would be an excellent fit. I got my man, or not my man. I don't even know who it is. It's just, what the hell? Somehow I must have taken it off my screen. Damn it. There was a Sixers account that had a couple trade scenarios he listed. One being Buddy Hield, who I'm not on board with. Bogdanovich was one of them. And I forget who the other one was now. And that was the one that intrigued me the most. Malcolm Brogdon, who I do like the idea of Malcolm Brogdon here in Philly. And you can get Malcolm Brogdon fairly cheap. If Joel Embiid is coming back, I could find you a scenario where you could trade for Jimmy Butler and Malcolm Brogdon. Would you be okay with that? Because I like the idea of Malcolm Brogdon. But Malcolm Brogdon is not going to replace Joel Embiid in the sense of a star that can help carry you to an NBA championship. Malcolm Brogdon is a great additional piece to add to Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey that can help put us over the top. Jimmy Butler could put us over the top. Klay Thompson could put us over the top. But none of those moves matter if Joel Embiid's gone. Travis will say something like, I got a ring. Now I got to get my girl a ring after winning the Super Bowl. He's going to be up there accepting the MVP trophy. And he's going to, hey, Tay, come on up here. And he's going to get down on one knee. He's going to pull out of his football pants a diamond ring and be like, would you marry? It's going to be the perfect. Then they're going to look at the screen and they're going to say, what are you doing now? And they're going to say, we're going to Disney World. The Travis Taylor thing is going to make Disney World so much money if they win the Super Bowl. Just saying. Come draft day, the Sixers will have 5 first-round picks to play around. They're not going to have 5 first. They're going to have 1 this year, 1 extra. It's not going to be 5 in 1 year. I'm not trading Joel Embiid right now. I don't think there's anything you could say to me right now that would convince me to move on from Joel Embiid. And I know, a lot of people are on the fence. Yes, we should, or no, we shouldn't, but they're teetering one way or another. Me, I'm not on the fence. I am as far away from the fence as possible. I want nothing to do with moving Joel Embiid anytime soon. Anytime soon. Just saying. Nobody would take Joel. Stop. If Daryl Morey sent out a mass email to NBA executives and said Joel Embiid is on the block, Daryl Morey would need 3 secretaries and 5 extra phone lines put into his office to field all the calls he would get. A dozen teams would make, at a minimum, 3, 4 first-round pick offers. The New York Knicks would literally offer 10% of the franchise to the Sixers to get him in New York. I'm telling you, Joel would, the suitors would line up for him. I'm not doing it, though. I don't care. Joel Embiid can't carry a team with bad knees, literally and figuratively. Time to build around Maxey. You can build around Maxey. And one of the other pieces around Maxey is Joel Embiid. Yeah, bad knees. I kind of, to an extent, believe the rumors that Joel Embiid was pushing himself because he was trying to silence the critics that were saying, things like, he's always, hurt and stuff like that. And he was ducking, Jokic. He pushed himself. And he made it worse. Joel Embiid is an elite, insanely talented basketball player, generational, but he's a very soft-minded person. Like he gets too easily affected by what other people say. It is what it is. It is also what makes him great, his personality. I've been saying Malcolm Brogdon since the beginning of the season. Whenever he signed his deal in Portland, I wanted the Sixers to look at him. Even when he was in Boston, or when he got to Boston, before he got to Boston, Malcolm Brogdon's a guy I thought, was he with Indiana before that? Whatever his career trajectory took. At multiple points throughout his career, I've been looking for Malcolm Brogdon to be a Sixer. I think he's a great complementary piece. He's only on the hook for this year and $22 million next year. So it's another expiring contract next year. But I think Brogdon, if Joel is healthy, and you can have Brogdon and Maxey as your starting backcourt, you bring in somebody else, whatever you bring in, or make that your only move, you're better off. Jimmy Butler and Brogdon? Yeah, I mean, with a healthy Joel Embiid, that's a playoff team right there. I mean, not a playoff team. That's a conference finals team. That's a contending team. That's a team that the Celtics might be scared of. A 75% Embiid is better than most. Hell, I would say, Big Al, a 75% Embiid is still the best center in the NBA. Just saying. Enough of this, Joel. Yeah, let's enough of it, because we're saving it for tomorrow's topic. Not trade Joel, but other parts of this. I'm gonna crush Philly sports fans and media tomorrow. Yo, Phil, we're not talking about it, especially not today. It's just Marshawn that's bringing it up. That's it. What about Spencer Dinwiddie? Is he still? Who's he even play for right now? Is he still on the Dallas Mavericks? Let me see here. Okay. He is not on the Mavericks. I don't even know who Spencer Dinwiddie plays for right now. That's how out of touch I am with it. Tell me who he plays for, and I'm going to bring up the NBA trade machine. I'm happy with Brogdon or Smart. Caruso's my pipe dream. Yeah, I'm the flip on that. Caruso, I think, is an overrated player in the sense that he's a very solid player. So let me backtrack for a second. He's not an overrated player. His trade value is massively overrated. I mean, you would have to trade 2 first-round picks to get Caruso right now, because there are going to be multiple teams jumping up and down to get him, and there's going to be an arms race to get Caruso. And I like Caruso. Caruso to me is a role player, but Caruso gets treated in trade conversations as this elite superstar. I don't buy it. Not at all. Like, not even remotely am I buying him as a guy that's gonna make a difference. It's just not. Trying to find something on Dinwiddie here, but I can't figure out who he plays for. Oh, he plays for Brooklyn now. I thought I thought he moved on from Brooklyn already. All right, so let's go to Brooklyn here. While I'm trying to look at Brooklyn here on my trade machine here and see what Dinwiddie makes, he's an expiring $20 million contract. So he's an expiring contract at $20 million. You don't have to move Tobias to get him. You can move Marcus Morris, and you can move Marcus Morris and Mo Bamba's contract. That gets it done. Okay? But you're going to have to throw a draft pick. You might have to put in 2 second-round picks to go with that on the Spencer Dinwiddie conversation. I don't know what the Brooklyn Nets are going to do. I mean, I saw Sixers fans yesterday. There were Sixers people jumping all over social media, or other people dressed up as Sixers fan because it's Halloween, trying to suggest to bring Ben Simmons back to Philly. He had 1 game. He played 18 minutes off the bench. Yeah, he had an okay performance, 10 points, 11 rebounds, whatever. And he hurt his ankle or knee, and now he's out again. And there's Sixers fans saying, bring in Ben Simmons. He's exactly what the Sixers need with Nick Nurse's style. Get the bleepity bleep out of here. Bring me Bridges. Right the wrong. I mean, he's fixed other mistakes. So let's see. Bridges is only on a 3-year. He's got 2 more years after this year left. He's worth $21 million a year. So Bridges and Dinwiddie's expiring contract, that's a combined 42. You put Tobias Harris up. You put Tobias Harris and Springer up. That dollar works. So you get Bridges and Dinwiddie. You give up Springer and Harris. Throw in 2 first-round picks. Does that get it done? Bridges and Dinwiddie for Tobias, Springer, and 2 first-round picks. Is that enough? I don't think it's enough. I think Bridges' $20 million contract is pretty cheap today, and it might take more. And if the Sixers offered that and the Nets are like, yeah, maybe, let me think about it, and they put feelers out, I think a team would beat 2 firsts for Bridges. I do. Caruso, elite D and 41% on threes. There's a reason, there's a market, but yeah, overvalued. Sometimes you got to look past the stats. He's an elite defender. He is. And he is having a great season shooting the 3. We don't need a guy that's going to take 4 threes a game. We need Klay Thompson, who's going to take 9 shots a game, 9 threes a game. And I think in a bigger sample size on a better team, some of those numbers would dip. There wouldn't be as many shots from here. I just don't buy the hype on Caruso as an elite player. I look at Caruso as your 4th best starter or one of your 2 best guys off your bench. And is that something you're going to dump huge assets in? If you're 1 piece away from an NBA championship, maybe. But I think this team needs more. Dinwiddie had them pay him in crypto and crowdsourced his free agent move. He is a weird dude. He is. He's one of those guys, like, I can't get a pulse on what he is as an NBA player. He's been around for a little while. And he's had some times where he's had some huge stats. He's been a main starter on bad teams. He's been a role player on decent teams. I don't know what Dinwiddie is. But he still keeps hanging around. Unbridled enthusiasm. All right, let's start over on this trade machine here. I want to bring up this Alex Caruso thing. Let's bring up the Bulls, because the Bulls are always going to be the team that every team in the NBA is linked to. So Alex Caruso's got 2 years, this year and next year, 10 million. And that's the other thing. I thought it was a little higher than this. You'd only be on the hook for trading Alex Caruso for 1 more year at just under $10 million. So dollar and cents wise, you could trade Robert Covington to get Alex Caruso. They don't want Robert Covington, except the fact he's got an expiring contract. They're going to want draft picks. Are you willing to give up 2 first-round draft picks for Alex Caruso? To me, absolutely not. Not even close. I'm looking here on the NBA trade machine at the Bulls roster. There is so many missteps on this roster. LaVine's got 3.5 years at $40 million a year left. DeRozan is an expiring contract. You still got 2 years of Lonzo Ball left. Nikolai Vucevic still there. He's got a couple years left on his deal. You got Kobe White. There's just mismatched. Whoever's running this organization has made so many missteps. So many of them. It's crazy. I mean, it's just a disaster looking roster. Completely. Thumbs up for the show or you love the Cowboys. That's right. If you don't hit the like button, that means you're obviously a Cowboys fan, which we hope to God you are not. Just saying. Let's see here. Um, so hit that like button, hit that share button, that subscribe button, that follow button, that retweet button, wherever you're watching. We got people watching on 5 of the 6 platforms right now. 6 of the 6, actually 6 of 6 platforms right now that we're streaming on. I don't know what to do with the Sixers team. These all make good. Buddy, as in Buddy Hield. I've been on the Buddy Hield train before. I don't know why the Pacers would trade him, though. They're a contending team. They're a team that has aspirations. Yeah, they're not going to win a title this year, but they're a contending team or a playoff caliber team. They're in the 6th seed right now. They're a team that should make not even the play-in series, but just the playoffs, period. You got Buddy Hield's got an expiring $20 million contract. You see what Buddy Hield's stats are right now this season. 12 points a game. I don't care about that, though. Shooting 38.8% from deep. He's a career 40% shooter. I think he's averaging like 9 shots a game from deep or something like that. Let me see this. Let me go split this out a little deeper. He's shooting 2.7. Yeah, seven shots a game from deep this year. He's an 8 to 9 shot a game in his career. He's just very inconsistent. He's got multiple 40-plus seasons behind the arc, and he's got seasons that dip below 36%. Buddy Hield's a very inconsistent guy. I don't know if that's what puts us over the top. Buddy Hield's the type of move you make to just kind of dangle around till the playoffs. If Joel Embiid's not coming back, it keeps you semi-competitive, keeps you in some games. Buddy Hield, to me, I think he's kind of run his course on what he is. A true franchise player has to set the pace on offense, defense, and be available for games. Joel's a role player. Seriously? Joel is a role player? Like, you're leaving me speechless here, mister. How can you sit there and say Joel is a role player? Joel Embiid is one of already the 5 or 6 best centers in the history of the NBA. There are things that he does that nobody has ever been capable of doing. He is 100% a true generational talent. And you're trying to tell me he's a role player? Sorry. Your opinions matter. But I heavily disagree with that. And I think this is the problem. Like, why people... somebody help me here. I don't know. I don't even know. No, like, no offense. I'm not trying to be an a-hole or anything. I don't know what to say or how to respond to that. Buddy only playing 25 minutes a game. Why his numbers are a bit down. Only playing 25 minutes a game doesn't explain 4% drop in 3-point percentage from last year or whatever it is. I'm not saying I don't want Buddy Hield. He's got, I think I already closed it out, like $19 million left on his contract. 1-year deal. This year it's expiring. So you're going to have to trade 2 players, 2nd round pick, or somebody like Marcus Morris and a 2nd round pick. Are you better off with Buddy Hield or Marcus Morris on this team? I'm keeping Marcus Morris. Buddy Hield is like an extra. If you get him super cheap, sure. 2 other expiring contracts, 2nd round picks, sure. So let me look at this again. If you want to tell me Buddy Hield for, say, Robert Covington and Furkan Korkmaz and a 2nd round pick, sure. Get the deal done. But if I've got to give up real assets for him, I'm not doing it. This makes sense too. 40.3%. That's his career, not this year, if I was reading it right, just so you know. I think people are still hurt from the previous years by the Sixers. They are. The Sixers have hurt us, and Al, I get Mister's. There's probably some frustration, feeling hurt, feeling betrayed, feeling they can't take any more disappointments. But unfortunately, when you've got a player like Joel Embiid on your franchise, you can't move on from him. You got to take the licks and keep on ticking. You got to. But you don't move on from him. You have to deal with the pain and the heartache. You just cannot move on from Joel Embiid. You just can't. Tyus Jones makes sense too. I've heard a lot of people talk Tyrese Jones. I have. I don't hate it. I think it's another team or another name that seems to be very popular right now. And I think there's going to be a lot of suitors for him. I just don't think I'm spending the money. I think we'll get outbid on him. He could be an upgrade over the Melton situation. Is Melton even tradable now because of the situation? I don't know. But if Melton's not coming back anytime soon, it's kind of why I want Malcolm Brogdon. Because even if Melton comes back, Melton could just go to where he belongs on the bench. Melton to me is a great bench player. Melton to me is a terrible starter. It doesn't mean a thing if you don't got that ring. For all the old heads, Joel's worst case is going to be Bill Walton, elite center with all the talent in the world, whose injuries limited him. But Bill was a very important player for championship teams. Yeah, I'm going on. I'm sinking with the ship. Said it before. Maybe when he hits 32, we'll talk about it. But right now, I'm not. I'm giving it this year. I'm giving it next year. After next year, all right. Maybe you want to talk about it then. But right now, I am not considering it 100%. And if it did happen, I would call it one of the biggest mistakes in Sixers and Philadelphia history. No one will give you anything. Stop. You don't even know. You're the same person that says this dumb crap. 5 first-round picks that they own, plus Harden picks that they can move around. I don't care. I'm not trading Joel Embiid. I'm not. You trade Joel Embiid. Yeah, you got Tyrese Maxey. Yeah, you got a bunch of draft picks. But you know what? What are the odds that all those draft picks work out? What are the odds that how many picks did we get through the process? How many top 3 picks did we have not work out? How many can't miss prospects did we miss on? How many can't miss prospects did we pass up on? You go with it. You stick with it. How many other teams have run through processes, just not called it a cool marketing name? Plenty of teams. Here's a comparison. Different, but similar. What are the odds that you pick your franchise quarterback in Carson Wentz, it turns out to be a mistake, and you bring in Jalen Hurts, and it just happens to work out again? That doesn't happen often. When you move on from an elite generational talent, and I'm not saying Carson Wentz was generational, I'm just using it as an example. The odds that you get another generational talent that can carry your franchise is slim to none. And I see this one here, and I agree. At some point, he might want out. He might get frustrated of not winning. Everybody wants that title eventually. Joel Embiid's a Hall of Fame player. Only thing he's missing is the title. At some point, he may ask out. And if that ship comes, then we can have the conversation. He's still got 3 years at a relatively, for him, solid contract. It's less than $50 million a year. A lot of elite stars are making over $50 million a year now. After this year, he has 3 years left. So after next year, he's got 2 years left on his deal. When he's got 2 years left on his deal, if a team wants to offer me 5 first-round picks, I can consider it. I'm just not doing it now. There's zero tolerance for that in my mind. You're missing the point. I'm saying they own their picks now, not from. I know what you're saying, but everybody keeps bringing up these picks and what you get for Joel. I can't get over this point. But yeah, the Sixers do have draft capital to trade now. I get that. It just matters what you trade them for and not overpaying. We got all these picks. Are you really going to dump 2 for Caruso? No. You got to be very, very big picture and deep thinking at this trade deadline, especially if Joel's missing an extended period of time or the rest of this year. You got a lot of cap space next year. You've got picks, as you keep saying, Marshawn. You gotta really think long and hard about what every move you make. If Joel's coming back in 4 games, 5 games, and you want to go out there and go all in for a title, by all means. But until we know the Joel situation, you can't. You can't make any decisions. Sixers can't draft only 3 good draft picks in the last 2 decades: Iverson, Embiid, and Maxey. Enough of the trade talk. I mean, they've drafted some decent players over the years, but you're talking about 2 generational talents. They have had other good draft picks. There are other guys that are still very serviceable role players in the NBA. Every team in every sport doesn't get a generational talent out of every first-round pick. Let's just say that, okay? A lot of teams pass over generational talent, too. It happens a lot more than you realize. But enough of the trade talk. Bring me 1 to 2 I'm all for Bogdanovich. Bring me both of them. Bring me both of the boogies. You need snipers. You need scorers. You need shooters on this team. If you're going on, again, I'm not making these moves if Joel's done. Because in my opinion, I don't care what move you make. Jimmy Butler, Alex Caruso, Bogdanovich, Buddy Hield, whoever. You're done with Joel Embiid for the year, you ain't winning a title. No offense to any of those names and Tyrese Maxey, that is not enough with Paul Reed to win a title. It's just not. Like I said, we only have 5 firsts come draft day because we cannot trade our own picks. Yeah, there's still. I do. On a side note, Marshawn, I do think it's kind of weird that they limit you. You can't trade certain picks like every other year or whatever the rules are. I think it's a dumb rule. If a team wants to trade their picks, I don't trade their picks. Like I think it's a dumb rule. Can't play it safe if you want to get over the second round playoff hump. Daryl Morey is too scared to pull the trigger. That's why he's never won a. He hasn't won a championship because he goes all in on James Harden everywhere he goes. He's just not a elite GM. He's not scared to trade Joel Embiid. He's not considering trading Joel Embiid. Because if he goes out and let me just tell you something. If he goes out and trades Joel Embiid, A, he might then get fired right away. 2, and Embiid goes and wins a title somewhere else, he'd never get a job in the NBA again. 3, Josh Harris would never sign off on a trade of Joel Embiid. He makes too much money off of Joel Embiid. The Joel trade talk is stupid. It's bad. It's not going to happen. Not because he's scared to pull the trigger, but because it's a bad idea. With the free agent class this trade deadline, or a trade in the offseason is almost your free agent signing too. I trade 1 first for a quality role player, and when they get 2 more out of the draft, go in. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Jokic was passed by everyone. Giannis was a mid. There's dozens of stories like that. They're all sports. Jokic was drafted during a commercial. Now the NBA changed the draft to give everyone tea time. Yeah, that's true. That's right. Yo, you're doing great coverage of the Senior Bowl, man. Great coverage from my man, Philly, Joe Castro. Check out his Twitter page. Joe Castro, my man, covering the Senior Bowl. We got Eagles talk tomorrow. We're definitely diving into Eagles. Shane Half on and lots of Eagles talk. We're going to have to bring back Football Fridays in the off season because we are going to try to stay off of football from time to time. But my man, make sure everybody checks out my man, Joe Castro, Philly the pod. Doing great job covering. I know he's doing the Senior Bowl. I know he's got creds to go to the combine, I believe, and maybe the other college thing, the East West game. I don't know. I know he's got creds to go to a lot of different things this offseason. He's killing it, man. killing it. The Suns were ruined due to Stapien, who just sold off his picks. Reason for the first pick rule. Yeah, I still don't agree with it. I don't agree with the rule. There's a lot of rules that happen that I don't agree with. All right, real quick, we'll catch up on on the questions and the comments in a little bit here. But joining me now on the I Have No Sponsor hotline, my man, Bill Matz from PHLY Sports, covering the Flyers for them. Good morning, Bill. How you doing? I can't hear you. You might be muted. Can't hear you. No. Hang on one sec. Oh, he jumped out. We're gonna try to get his mic situated there, and then we'll get back with him in a second here. What were you guys saying here? Joel isn't comfortable here and has a lot of organizational power. He definitely does. SUV can't wait. One out if you're the one getting hurt. The only person's fault is his own. Stop. No, we're not moving on from him. Match just doesn't want to be here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Um, Let me see here. And mute it in 24 should be cause for citizens arrest. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up my background stuff here just to make sure. Testing. I can still hear my speakers work. Are we there? Man, hang tight. Let me see if it's anything on my end here. I don't think it is, but man, nope, not that. Edit mic settings. Yeah, I got you listed here as good to go on my end. Oh man, trying. We're trying here, guys. I know y'all want Bill to talk Flyers. We're trying. We're trying to figure this out here. Oh man, technology sucks. Technology is a pain in the ass. See, this is what Flyers talk does to your show. Exactly. This is what happens when you try to give the other teams in the city a minute of attention. You have problems. Chat wants Embiid. No, I'd rather talk Flyers and continue this trade Joel Embiid talk you guys keep bringing up. We're gonna try one more time. We're gonna try one more time. Otherwise, I don't know what's gonna happen. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to try to talk Joel Embiid solo or the Flyers solo here. It's a silent stream. Yeah, we're black and white movies here. We're like Charlie Chaplin on this show. I'm just gonna ask questions and Bill Matz can go thumbs up, thumbs down, and in the middle, and that's it. You guys are okay hearing me, right? You guys can hear me, right? So I'm pretty sure you guys are good with me. Kenny go to Renee's house. Yeah, at least Renee had good connection. Mm. Let's see if he messaged me or not. He did not. So, oh man, he is making more sense than Phil take on Maxey. Stop, dude. You really are trying to get blocked from this show. Like really trying. I don't know why, but you are. Um, but I can see you. Just so you know, John Cena, I always see you. Um, see, I'm just keep waiting to see if he messages me or something. So Darkwing Duck was a great theme song too. Yeah, before Twitter, I saw something on Twitter about the best cartoon theme songs from your childhood, and I shared out DuckTales. Woohoo hoo! I love DuckTales as a kid. Great theme song too. Tell Bill to go into the settings and under audio, make sure his mic is set and registering in StreamYard. Yes, that is what he needs to do. Hopefully he does. I'm just gonna leave it up on the screen here. I think Bill knows how to use StreamYard. I think PHLY uses it too, but you know, it is what it is. Yes, Batman the Animated Series is good too, theme song wise. Um, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated series, one of my favorites. The Ducktales made for TV movie when they go off to find the treasure with Scrooge with Grandpa. It's like the greatest thing with what was the pilot's name? Oh man, I'm gonna kill myself not remembering the pilot's name from DuckTales. Why can't I think of his name? I watched that thing so many times. So many times. Launchpad. That's right. Launchpad McQuack. Or Launchpad was his name. I don't know who McQuack is. Boomer Tech. Launchpad. I love it, man. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what he's doing. So I guess while we're waiting for Bill, we can continue talking cartoon theme songs. We could start the Flyers conversation without him. I know people have been waiting. K1, specifically, who's mysteriously absent today when the Flyers are actually on the agenda. We could talk a little Flyers. We could talk about the Carter Hart situation. What the Flyers do in this situation. What does it mean for the Flyers organization outside of the legal aspect of what's going on with him? What it does. The Flyers are limped into the All-Star break. 5-game losing streak. Falling from second in their division to third in their division. Danny Briere has spoken nonstop that this was a rebuild. But yet they kind of, like the Eagles in 2022, massively exceeded expectations. Bill Nye, the science guy. I don't remember the theme song for that. Carter Hart, man. I don't know how much of the situation y'all guys know. And I don't know how many articles you've read on it. But this is a sad, sad situation. And the legal aspect of it, what happened specifically, there's still different rumors. I read the report from the police. Carter Hart's lawyer has clearly, without a shadow of a doubt, defended his client, which he's got to do, saying he is unequivocally innocent of all charges, which he's only got one charge, sexual assault. He's innocent. We as human beings, we as fans, constantly do believe you're guilty till proven innocent, even though the system should be innocent till proven guilty. But yeah, the situation, what actually happened is horrific, if proven accurate. What actually happened is so sad to see that it still happens in today's day and age. Why people aren't better. But on the flip side of the equation, just looking at strictly from a hockey perspective and a franchise of the Flyers perspective, this is a big knock on what the plan probably was. Now, I know that I've got to switch to my Flyers notes here on another page here. Sam Ersson is now the starting goalie, and I know he's been playing more and more this year anyway. But he didn't have the hype that Carter Hart had. Carter Hart was supposed to be the future of this organization. It definitely sets you back massively because Adam says, I think Carter Hart is done. I mean, if he's proven it, once it goes, I read something this morning. The trial might not happen until 2026 because of Canada's fantastic legal system. So this is going to be a lingering issue for years. All right? Lingering for years. Which means you can't have him playing for your organization for years. Flyers doing their own investigation? Are they just going to cut ties with Carter Hart now? They might have to. But now you've got to start the process of trying to figure out who your franchise goalie is again. Doesn't matter if it's not living up to expectations or this. We never deal with goalies well in the city. Bill, do we got you?
I think you have me.
We got you. How about that? I love it, man. Thanks for figuring that out. I greatly appreciate your time this morning, my man.
Yeah, no problem. The settings of my laptop, the setup I use all the time, just decided, no, we're not going to recognize your mic. But I'm here now, and we're good to go.
That's good. Third time's a charm. It works out. You know what I mean? So I tried to get the Flyers conversation started a little bit there while we were working on that mic and stuff like that. Obviously, I know I was listening to you do a Flyers show on PHLY the other day, and I know you said you don't really want to make too many comments on the Carter Hart situation because there's a lot of assumptions going on right now. So more strictly on a hockey standpoint, all I keep thinking of outside of the horrific, incident that is being described as what happened, because what I read yesterday in the article, I mean, it broke my heart that kind of stuff happened. But on
Yeah.
a Flyers hockey standpoint, this is a big issue to have to deal with, right?
It is. No, on yesterday's show, we had Kelly Hinkle from Broad Street Hockey on, and she and I started together doing Broad Street Hockey in 2016. And
Okay.
that's the year Carter Hart was drafted. Like, he's been a part of my conversation for the entirety of these last 8 years. He was supposed to be the franchise goalie. He was supposed to be okay. We have that box checked. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case now. I mean, anything could happen, but one should probably assume the future doesn't include Carter Hart. Okay, how do we now recheck that box that we thought was at the very least filled for them, or something they didn't have to worry about?
I mean, you look at it, I mean, when I was prepping last week for you to come on, and these numbers might have changed a little bit, but I mean, Sam Ersson had been doing a pretty serviceable job this year. And in fact, he had been playing close to normally your starting star goalie plays a huge percentage of the games, the backup, not quite as often. They were pretty close to games played, even when this news broke and Carter Hart first took the mysterious absence. But is Sam Ersson really a guy you could build around as your main goalie? Or now, as this deadline and as the season progresses, does Danny Briere and company really have to think about making a trade, drafted, so doing something major to the goalie position?
I think we talked about this a little yesterday, like maybe for this season going out and getting a Jake Allen or someone to split the time with for Sam Ersson. But really, they believe in Ersson. They think he has starter upside. And I think it's going to be sink or swim, kid. Like, let's find out about Sam Ersson. Now, it's going to be a pretty heavy workload. I think he might become like the Carter Hart starter situation, and Cal Peterson's going to get in like Felix Sandstrom did last year. Yeah, you'll play the back end to back-to-backs, things like that. It's going to be a challenge, certainly, but you're also going to put a young goalie that you believe in to the test. Okay, we believe in you. Let's see how far you can take us.
I think that's interesting because, one of the things I was going to ask you about was, should the Flyers be buyers or sellers? Now they're on a 5-game losing streak, into the All-Star break and stuff like that. And I do believe Danny Briere still is trying to keep the big picture at mind. And I know that's hard for Flyers fans to swallow because it's been a while since our Flyers have been even remotely competitive. But you kind of don't you want to just, before you talk about the rest of the team, just play this season out and see what you got. Use the rest of this season with Sam Ersson to be, is he the guy going forward or not? And even if it costs you a playoff run or, winning a series in the playoffs, it's worth it big picture because you weren't supposed to be a contender this year anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's how they're going to approach the deadline. Is it's not going to be about buyers. I think they're going to end up trading Sean Walker at the very least, probably Nick Sealer too, maybe Mark Stahl if there's any takers for a veteran who can play here and there for you. But I don't think it's going to be like a full-on, everything must go fire sale. I think making the playoffs, getting this group playoff experience would be nice, but really, I just need them to have meaningful games in March and April. Like, that's the not playing exhibition games, these games mattering and seeing if these guys can actually play at the level they did in the first half throughout the whole year once teams really start to turn it up as the playoffs approach. That's the most important thing, them getting to play games that have consequence.
Duck making a comment about bringing Carter Hart back eventually. Now, like, personally, I was going to actually ask him about something similar to this. I don't care if other teams want to give him a chance 5 years from now. Like, he needs to leave his organization. I don't know the contract, the cap structure, and rules of contracts in the NHL very well, like I do other sports. Carter Hart's got a couple years left on his contract. Can you just cut him and are there rules because I feel like you're guilty till proven innocent when you shouldn't be, but you can't have this lingering. I read a report yesterday that this might not see trial till 2026. Can the Flyers get out from Carter Hart pretty easily in the legality of the NHL contracts?
Yeah, he's under team control for a few more years.
Yeah,
but his actual contract expires after this season.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people, well, you can't lose him for nothing. You can. You can, and you're probably going to. They could always extend him a qualifying offer. The thing is, though, he's going to take that. Like now he's going to count against the cap. And like you said, it's going to be at least a year before there's ever even, like, forget resolution. Things are going to continue to come out, and it's just going to be a long time before we actually know what the end result of this is. He'll have to be signed before that. I just don't see how you can, as an organization, like, you don't want the headline, Flyers extend qualifying offer to Carter Hart as he awaits trial. Like,
Right.
That's just the way it's going to be with him. I assume that after this season, he's going to be on some exempt list. Maybe that changes things. But it's more than likely just going to be Carter Hart and the other 3 NHL players. Yeah, when your deals are up, you're just kind of adrift.
You're done. Yeah. I mean, you kind of have to do that because you said it perfectly. You can't have that lingering. You got a young organization that's trying to ascend, rebuild, but also make a run. You don't need the distraction of every question and everything about Carter Hart. I'm actually kind of surprised that they haven't cut ties with him already officially. I know he says he's innocent. His lawyer says he's innocent, but unfortunately, in our eyes, you're guilty till proven innocent. And it's just it's a black mark on the Flyers. It's a black mark on the NHL, who is trying very hard to improve their image, improve their reach and stuff like that. And then this kind of drops. It's a black mark on the whole season.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think it's a coincidence that the team's play started to dip. Now, it was starting to dip before all this happened, but I think it's really this 5-game losing streak they went into the bye week on is like a combination of, the whole team was just sick. They were on the road. Then they came back, started to play well. And then the Cutter Gauthier thing. And then now Carter Hart. It's just been an absolute circus, quite honestly. Like, these last couple of weeks, it's really tested the character of this team. I think I'm optimistic that when they come back from the break, they're going to look more like the team that won 5 in a row right before the 5-game losing streak. But, your goaltending is going to be different. You're going to be, guys are coming back from injury. You don't know what Owen Tippett's going to look like, if he's going to be ready to go right away, if Morgan Frost is really going to be this good. Is Travis Sanheim going to bounce back from his last couple of weeks? So maybe the results aren't there, but I really just want to see this team get back to competing the way it was a couple weeks prior.
I think the common theme, to get off the Carter Hart thing, the common theme is that this Flyers team is overachieving, but that Danny Briere and Tortorella are doing an excellent job building towards something here. How do you sell it to the fans who see the playoffs for the first time right in front of them, that we're not going to be overly aggressive at the deadline? We might sell a piece, but there's a good chance that we don't make any moves to really make a push. Like, how do you sell that to what's already been a very patient fan base with this organization?
I think we told you what this was going to be. We already established that this was a rebuild. John Tortorella a couple of days ago basically said, don't get too excited at the deadline. Like, you might actually be disappointed in what happens. Like, they've told us all along what this was going to be, that the big picture was still about creating a cup contender when Matvei Michkov gets here. So I can't get mad at them for doing what they told us they were going to do all along. And honestly, like, the worst sign that this team doesn't really realize where it is them going, oh, we're ahead of schedule. Everything's fine. Let's go for it. Like, no, that's what has sunk them for the last 20 years.
Yeah. I kind of always, I know it's a different situation because the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, but I always I've been looking at for the last month or so, this Flyers team, similar to last year's Eagles team, where they were in a rebuild, retool going into 2021. They overachieved in 21-22, sped the process up. And then, to me, some of the problems that the Eagles had this year were because Howie Roseman made rash, harsh decisions to keep them, in that spot. The Flyers, I don't need Danny Briere making rash decisions because he sees one playoff run here. That's just because they're putting extra expectations on this team. You know what I'm trying to get at? It's different, but overachieving sometimes could put forced rushed expectations on a team.
Oh, it can. And like the Eagles, obviously, it's like, and then they had a Super Bowl run. So, but
Yeah.
it's more of a year-to-year league. But no, it absolutely makes sense. Like, do you bring back both cornerbacks and Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham and the whole gang? It's like, well, you probably shouldn't because we have no depth. But they did just go to the Super Bowl, so I have to. Like, no, you don't. You don't have to. Like, especially in hockey, where these are long-term decisions that you can't get out of in a year. Like, you don't have to make. Well, they overachieved. So no, you can't let hockey is a weird game. Teams sometimes just get lucky. Sometimes they get lucky for a whole year. It doesn't mean they're actually that good. Now, the Flyers have the record they have because they work their asses off every night. But there's some element of luck to what's going. They're not as good as they shouldn't be top 3 in the Metropolitan Division. Like some other things are going for them, the way the Devils have played, the way the Rangers have played lately to make it even close in the Metro. Like it's kind of worked out for the Flyers, and still they're 9 points out of a top 10 pick. Like it's the standings are very tight. Another couple of bad weeks, and we're not talking about the playoffs at all.
So John Tortorella. So first off, a little backstory. I mean, people don't understand, the people that watch this show regularly, because I don't talk Flyers often because, no offense, Flyers kill an algorithm of a sports show. It's unfortunate. It's the way it is. But people don't realize I'm a more of a Flyers fan than anything. I've been to more Flyers games than any other sport in this city in my lifetime. And when John Tortorella first got here, I was not a fan of the idea because the reputation he came with was a hard-nosed coach, which we needed, but was he really going to stick it out through a rebuild and be here long enough for the rebuild? So far, through the few years he's been here, obviously take the success this season. Don't just rely just on that. What kind of a job has he really done in creating a culture change with this Flyers organization? Because I put the culture change squarely on what Tortorella has done.
I think there's been the culture change has started organizationally with Keith Jones and Danny Briere and John Tortorella as part of that, and Dan Helferty as well. Like, kind of just trying to get back to the way things were under Ed Snyder. Now, the Ed Snyder reign wasn't perfect. They did go from 1975 till present without a Stanley Cup. It's not as if they were winning cups every year and then Ed Snyder died and then everything went to hell. Like, no, it was getting bad well before that. But I think it's just the family atmosphere of the organization that makes everyone just kind of, oh, it is the Flyers. Like, there is something different about being the Flyers. Now, with the team itself, winning is what creates a great culture. It's all, Mike Richards is a great captain, and then they started not living up to expectations, and he had to go. It's winning equals culture. That said, I do think John Tortorella is the right guy to help set expectations organizationally for what is expected out of these guys to create a winner down the line. Create adversity now for guys so they know how to overcome it when it happens. You know what's going to happen in the playoffs? You're going to go down 2-1 in a series. You're going to get called for some bad penalties. You are going to play through injuries in the playoffs. How do you respond to all this? I think John Tortorella is uniquely qualified to impart that sort of wisdom. Do I think he's going to be the coach in 5 years when this team's actually good? I'd be surprised. But I think he's going to remain in the organization. I think he sees this as a place where he can finally establish, I'm here. I'm not going to be a mercenary on to the next job in 2-3 years. The place he's going to stay and help, as he said when he was hired, restore the Flyers to being a premier organization again.
And Adam said it perfectly. I'll put it back up again. It's a new era of Orange. And from what, I've watched more games this year than I have in the last couple of years on TV. I feel a little bit of the juice starting to return to the Wells Fargo Center. A little bit of the fan excitement starting to get there. And I think that the players, yes, are obviously part of that. The winning is part of that. But Tortorella has definitely done more than I expected when the hire first started. I'm like, with this organization where they're at 2 years ago when they hired him. I'm like, this isn't going to work out very well, because of his personality. But Briere and Jonesy, they've done a great job of flipping this team. And I think that the tone during the whole Cutter situation really was set for what this organization, when they said, if you don't want to be here, we're going to get you the hell out of here. I think that really sent a message to the fans and the organization that we're not messing around. This is not the old Flyers organization. This is a new regime right now.
No, they handled that from a public relations standpoint. They handled that so well. Like, listen, absolutely. I'm one of the people being pandered to, and I feel like, oh yeah, like ready to run through a wall for this organization again after spending the last 2 years just absolutely destroying them. Like, they handled it very well, got out in front of it, didn't try to hide the situation, told us what happened, and then we're like, kind of, got Philly riled up. Who responds better than Philly fans when it's like, yeah, man, he kind of said he doesn't like you. Like, well, screw him then. Like they did a very good job of selling that. And that the return they got, Jamie Drysdale, I think softens the blow a little bit. In not just because he's been very good, but it's not something we have to look down the line at. Cutter Gauthier, it was still like, all right, he'll be here in April or maybe mid-March. Okay, Matvei Michkov, that's going to be fun in 2026. This is, hey, here's Jamie Drysdale. He's here today. That was really fun, too, like getting to actually see somebody take the ice and make the team better immediately. I think they handled the whole thing well, and that's kind of rebuilt a little bit of trust with the fan base.
So you said his name for me because everybody loves how badly I mispronunciate names on this show because I can't pronounce. I can barely say your name, and it's an easy name. So, but you said his name. Is there any chance whatsoever he's here before 2026? Because to me, he's the key to this whole organization for the next 10, 15 years. And yeah, you're just like, when they're good in 5 years, well, in 5 years, he'll be here. Is there any chance that the success this year finds a way to get him over here sooner to maybe speed up the process so that we're not waiting 5 years for the greatness, maybe in 2 or 3 years?
There's always a chance because, the team he belongs to, he's on loan from to Sochi. He's being healthy scratched in Sochi yesterday. He's had some sort of health issue. He had pneumonia for a while. It's been a weird season for him after he got off to such a strong start after the loan. Maybe things just work out where everyone's just takes a step back and goes, he wants to be in the NHL. Let him go to the NHL. Mm-hmm. It's always a possibility. But after watching the Ivan Fedotov situation unfold over the summer, the last couple of years, I just don't know what the hell goes on in Russia. There's no accounting. There's no accounting for what they're going to let happen and what they're not going to let happen. Like, is the U.S. government going to start a war with Russia over a hockey player if he's not allowed to come here? Like, what exactly are the boundaries in this thing? So it's always a possibility. I'm just kind of putting myself in position. If he's here before 2026, that's a bonus I wasn't expecting. But looking
I just remember before the season started reading an article or two, I don't know which Flyer site I was reading on, that there were some opportunities maybe to get him here sooner. And that was what I was holding on to before the Flyers started to overachieve and exceed my expectations. I just kept thinking, when's this kid going to get here? When's this kid going to get here? Do I need to fly to Russia personally and sneak in and sneak him out of there? If I have to, I will, because I want that. He's got the possibility of being that elite generational talent that helps carry this organization for a long time. So, I mean, I got 2 questions for you here before we wrap this show up today. First one, do the Flyers keep going? You already said you think they'll come out of the break pretty well. Do you think they make the playoffs and hold on, or like you said, it's tight, or do they drop off and miss the playoffs this year?
Man, I was really, really optimistic about the playoffs. And now with the workload Sam Erson's going to take on and the lack of goaltender depth NHL ready right now in the organization, I think it's going to take an extraordinary effort that I don't know if they're going to have in them up against some just better teams over the next couple of months. I think they keep it interesting, but I'm starting to think it's not going to happen in terms of an actual playoff berth.
Why can't we have good? Like we always say, why can't we have good things in Philly? Why can't the Flyers just have good goalie? Like my first Flyers game, I don't remember the exact. It was like 88, 89. It was a Flyers versus Winnipeg Jets game. I still remember it. My uncle took me to it. But my entire life as a Flyers fan, every new goalie we bring in here, they either don't hit the expectations or then they get arrested. I mean, there's always something going on with the Flyers goalie situation.
It's really been a mess for
Thirty
my whole life. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been like 35 years of just kind of
Hextall
wow.
round one of Hextall was the last time we had a solid solidified goalie situation. It's crazy.
It's been ridiculous.
You got the NHL All-Star game this weekend and the festivities. It's now a 3-day thing. Actually, I think that it starts tonight, right? The new day, the new addition to it. This is a little fun because we always like to talk about all the different All-Star games on this show. Where do you rank the All-Star game weekend festivities for the NHL around the rest of them? Because I love the skills competition and the game itself is meaningless to me, but all the other ancillary things to the NHL All-Star weekend, I love it.
Yeah, the skills competition is cool. They redid it this year. There's going to be it's like $1 million prize, 8 different guys going head to head in these things. I'm looking forward to the skills competition. That's always interesting just to see like who's actually great at what. Like what little thing is someone just a little bit better at, and that's why they're awesome. Like that's going to be a lot of fun. The game is it's atrocious. I can't tell you the last time I sat down and watched an NHL All-Star game. One of the first 3-on-3s with John Scott, maybe. But that was a novelty because it was funny. A fighter got put into the All-Star game, and then it ended up being an awesome story. But yeah, the MLB All-Star game is the best to me because it's hard to fake baseball. It's like the guys are still throwing, and then the hitters are swinging. It's no one's not going to catch a fly ball. Basketball, I want to see Harlem Globetrotters stuff, so at least it's interesting to me. But hockey is just it's horrible.
It is. I love the hockey skills competition. I love the I don't know what they call it anymore, but the who is the hockey puck the hardest? The speed challenge.
Yeah, the hardest shot. Yep.
Hardest shot, whatever you want to call it. Like I love that. The skating, who skates the fastest. I just think there's such a fine skill in being a hockey player. Seeing that amplified on All-Star Weekend, that always gets me. I don't think I've ever watched an All-Star game in hockey. I don't think I have. I think I watched more alumni games in Flyers than I have All-Star games in hockey. So it is what it is. We got to wrap this show up here. We're up against the time here, but Bill, I appreciate your time. You got lots of great stuff over there at PHLY with the Flyers coverage. I was watching you guys the other night when you and JPP were doing a post-game show. You guys do great stuff over there. What do you guys got going on the rest of this week over there?
Rest of this week, it's going to be me, JP, and Kelly, and we're going to kind of play it a little loose. I was looking forward to this bye week, but today we're going to rank our 5 worst jerseys in honor of those Phillies jerseys that leaked the other day.
Phillies. I'm the only Phillies fan that loves them.
God.
Oh
man. They are something. But yeah, we'll be doing that. So catch us over on our YouTube page, PHLY Sports.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Bill, for your time today. I'm glad we got that worked out, and hopefully the Flyers. Hopefully I can get you back on, and we're talking, a Flyers, postseason run of something, just anything positive with the Flyers. I hope so.
It's always nice when things are going well for the Flyers. Sports are just a little more fun, and hopefully it doesn't take like 3 attempts next time.
Hey, thank you very much for your time today, Bill. That was Bill Matz on the I Have No Sponsor hotline, talking Flyers with us today. They should add the best fighter skills contest to the All-Star game. Great ratings it would have. It would. Sorry, I missed a bunch of comments again. I saw your comment, but then I never got back to it. I only had a very limited time with Bill there with the mic issues and stuff like that. So couldn't get to any of the questions, but it's good to see the Flyers back in the conversation. Yeah, good knowledge. I mean, Bill knows his hockey, and I do watch their. I don't just say that stuff. I do watch his stuff pretty regularly on PHL Sports there because Flyers. I mean, it's time. It's time to get excited about Flyers hockey again in this city. We've moved on from enough stuff, and I can't duck. I just can't get past this Carter Hart situation and what it could put black eye wise on what is a very positive season. I really want positivity around the Flyers, and it's why, if it's possible, I'm just making a bold statement saying we're cutting ties with him. He's gone. When his situation's resolved, if somebody else wants to step up, if he's allowed to play hockey again, whatever. I need the Flyers to distance themselves from that situation as far as possible, so that it's eliminated from the conversation on a daily basis. They should look for a veteran goalie to help the team. They absolutely should. They're going to be sellers, but whether they're buyers or sellers, it doesn't matter. Sam Ersson can't do it himself. He can't be out there 4 out of every 5 games. But you need a veteran, somebody that he can bounce back and forth with. Maybe put Sam Ersson in the main spot. He plays a little bit more than the veteran. And I don't know who's available at the trade deadline. We still got a couple weeks for that. But that's what it is. We got to wrap it up. Trending in the AM. We're past the hour and a half mark here today, guys. I got to get to work here today. Fox's Pizza, Kennett Square. Come see me. Everybody have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow. Shane Half will be joining us for the last half hour to talk Philadelphia Eagles. We will talk Philadelphia Eagles, and I got a little conversation point for tomorrow. Duck finally saying, knowing the Flyers in the NHL will do what they have been doing and ghost this issue, let the contracts lapse, like Bill said, and never speak of it again. Yeah, I got it. I get you. That's what they're going to do. It's not what I would do. That's all I'm saying. But everybody have a great day. We'll talk tomorrow. Eagles, trades, Sixers. Maybe we know something about Joel Embiid. Maybe I watch some of the All-Star festivities tonight for the hot NHL. We'll see. We'll see what's on the conversation tomorrow. But we'll be back tomorrow. Another great episode. Thanks. Make sure you guys hit the like button, share button, subscribe button, retweet button, whatever it may be, wherever it may be, wherever you may be watching. But everybody have a great Thursday. It'll be a little warmer today. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Go Birds. Yeah, you know what? In honor of Bill Matz finally getting on the show, I think we end the show a little differently today with Let's Go Flyers. Let's go Flyers. I don't know if you can hear me tapping the table.